Yeah, it was. Thanks a lot, Rick. Really appreciate it. You know, all she wanted was a driver's license. Well, now she thinks she has a license to sue. Why? Well, Florida resident Tammy Lemasters was mistakenly identified as a sexual predator on her driver's license. If she sues, attorney Diane Bass says she thinks she's got a good case, but Jay actually disagree. Jay, why wouldn't she have a pretty good lawsuit? You've stamped this woman a sexual predator.
Yeah, so this is very well settled law. I mean, there's not a gray area here, so I'm not sure why Ms. Bass thinks there's a lawsuit. Government entities such as the DMV, particularly in Florida, have what's called sovereign immunity. It means you can't bring a negligence case against them. There is very well settled law in the Federal Court of Appeals in the 11th Circuit, which governs Florida, indicating that governments are immune from these kind of lawsuits unless the tort is intentional. So they would have to show that they intentionally did this to her in a malicious fashion. Otherwise, the government is going to be immune from this kind of a lawsuit under Tessier versus Monroe County Sheriff. It's a 2005 11th Circuit Court of Appeals case. This is very clear, well-settled law. There's no case here.
Diane Bass, I guess what Jay is saying is you can't sue City Hall, but you say no, you can.
I think she absolutely has a case. I mean, being wrongfully accused of anything, any kind of crime, is a terrible experience. But can you imagine being mislabeled as a sexual predator? And mind you, this woman
Diane, have you read any of the 11th Circuit cases?
1 second, Jay. Let her finish for a second.
Jay, let me finish. She is listed. She's asking for accountability. She's asking for action to be taken, and she is asking for an apology.
Diane, but
the DMV needs to set some sort of procedures into place.
Hold on a second, Jay. Diane, did something happen to her as a result of being stamped on her driver's license? What happened to her?
Yes, she has actual damages. She went into court, and a judge and a bailiff saw that she was marked as a sexual predator. She had to deal with that outrageous emotional distress. She was detained by security at Disney World with her fiancé for 3 hours. Where were her children?
Diane,
were they out running the park?
Diane, cite me a statute or case that says she can sue.
I actually had a client. I actually had a client who was detained
in the 11th Circuit
in Disneyland.
Go ahead, Diane. Go ahead, Diane.
I'm a California practitioner, and I am telling you.
Jay, let her give us her side of this, Jay.
It's a different part of the country.
All right, go ahead, Diane.
Under the 9th Circuit,
this is a woman who was afraid.
Hold on, Jay.
Jay.
Go ahead.
As this woman was holding on to this license, she was afraid she could have been arrested for having children in her car, for being at her children's school. Anything could have happened, and who are they going to believe? This woman or her government-issued ID? This was outrageous. This never should have happened, and they absolutely have to correct this problem, and they need to apologize to this woman.
Hey, Jay, let me ask you, because you keep talking about these past cases. I mean, we have new cases. I don't know how the law works, but we do know that it's not always etched in stone. Couldn't there be a different decision because of what's happened to this woman?
I don't disagree with Diane that what happened to her is horrible. Don't get me wrong. But the law is very clear in the 11th Circuit. Cannot sue for a government's negligent actions. It is well-settled law. And the case is from 2005. There's another case from last year in the 11th Circuit. Diane practices in the 9th Circuit out in California. They have different laws out there.
Right.
We don't allow government immunity. And I have argued sovereign immunity cases in the 11th Circuit. I briefed it and argued oral argument. You cannot bring a case in the 11th Circuit.
Let's put it this way. I think a lot of people watching hope maybe that she'll give it another try, because it does sound like it was despicable what happened. Diane Bass, Jay App, you guys are fantastic. Really appreciate it. All right, now forget about
Thank you so much.